and a family in Denmark. I mean, I imagine if you had a secret family, what a lovely place to keep them.
Crying, like, baby, we did it. And she was crying. That's the thing. Find somebody that cries whenever you cry. What may be interesting.
What if everything you thought you knew about the Blake Lively scandal was a carefully orchestrated lie? New court documents just dropped that expose something so shocking. It could completely flip this entire case on its head. We're talking about a Hollywood power couple, allegedly fabricating evidence, manipulating timelines, and using their PR machine to destroy someone's reputation while claiming to be the victims. The leaked text messages and legal filings.
Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they f***ed up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you were...
Reveal a pattern of deception so calculated, it makes you question everything these A-listers have said publicly. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds didn't just fight back against Justin Baldoni. They allegedly created an entire false narrative using planted stories, cherry-picked evidence, and twisted conversations to make themselves look innocent. But here's where it gets really wild. The very evidence they submitted to court is now being used against them.
All right, you guys, now listen, people really don't like me out there. I don't know why. I feel like I'm really nice and I tell...
Their own lawyers may have just exposed the biggest celebrity cover-up of the year, and the fallout could end careers. We're about to dive into leaked court documents that show exactly how this deception was pulled off, who was involved, and why everything you've heard about this case might be completely backwards. The truth is so much darker than anyone imagined, and by the end of this video, you'll see why this isn't just about one lawsuit. It's about how Hollywood's most powerful couples can manipulate the entire system to destroy their enemies.
Well, Blake No Teeth Lively has experienced yet another court loss, so she wanted to amend her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni.
But this time, their plan might have just backfired in the most spectacular way possible. The first major lie starts with a story that Blake Lively's team swears they never planted. In her amended complaint, Blake claims that Justin Baldoni was trying to flip the narrative on a rumor about Ryan Reynolds, calling the movie script a disaster. She insists this was all fabricated by Baldoni's team and that she specifically told her publicist Leslie Sloan not to talk to the media about anything.
What about Taylor Swift? I mean, 2 months ago, Judge Lyman says, okay, you can, Taylor's texts are...
But here's the problem. The leaked documents show this is complete nonsense. That Daily Mail article she's referencing, it was written by James Bucca, and we now know for a fact that Leslie Sloan was feeding him information. James has openly admitted he wrote multiple stories for Leslie, and Leslie herself has never denied being his source. So Blake is literally lying about her own PR team's actions while under oath. The deception gets even more twisted when you look at the timeline manipulation.
Well, my friends, if you can believe it, it has only been 24 hours, and the tea today is actually even hotter than it was yesterday.
Blake's legal team shows a text message from August 29th where she tells Leslie to stay silent about everything. They're using this to prove she never authorized any media engagement. But that text is from 2 weeks after the Daily Mail story was published. She's showing evidence of telling her publicist to be quiet about a completely different issue, her brother-in-law Bart's situation, not about Baldoni at all. This means Blake's team planted the original story through Leslie Sloan.
Wait, this is fun. Let's play this game. Okay, so I like Jason Bateman for Fritz.
Then 2 weeks later acted like they never talked to media while submitting the wrong dates text messages as proof of their innocence. They're literally rewriting the timeline to hide their own media manipulation. And the craziest part? They think no one would fact-check the dates or realize Leslie was the confirmed source for these planted stories all along. But that wasn't the whole story about Ryan Reynolds and what he was really trying to hide. What Blake's team is desperately trying to hide goes way deeper than just bad press.
Blake Lively is busted in a new legal filing opposing her move for sanctions. And
It's about Ryan Reynolds potentially breaking federal union rules during one of Hollywood's biggest strikes. The leaked documents reveal that Ryan wrote a key rooftop scene for It Ends With Us. But here's the bombshell. He did this work while he was supposed to be on strike as a Writers Guild member. The film started production on May 5th, just 3 days after the WGA strike began. As a Guild member with writing credits on Deadpool films,
Her new name is Isabel Farad.
It's ridiculous.
Farad. What a fraud.
Reynolds was legally barred from doing any screenplay work between May 2nd and September 27th. But Blake herself admitted on the red carpet that Ryan wrote the rooftop scene that ended up in the final cut. She said this casually, not realizing she was potentially exposing her husband's strike violation. Here's where it gets really messy. Justin Baldoni had no idea Ryan had written anything. When Blake made that red carpet confession, it came as complete news to the director.
And this isn't a film about domestic violence. It's a film that covers a lot of things, from first love to being an entrepreneur.
Baldoni thought Blake had just improvised the scene herself. So now you have an A-list actor secretly writing during a strike, his wife accidentally exposing it publicly, and the director finding out about unauthorized script changes through entertainment media. The texts show that Baldoni's team wanted to address the scabbing issue, which is what you call someone who works during a strike. But they never actually published anything about it. Instead, when Variety finally covered the story, they were incredibly gentle with Ryan.
Wow. Isabella Ferrer has entered the chat in a really big way.
They even included his team's excuse that he took a pass on the scene in April 2023, conveniently before the strike started. But if that were true, why didn't anyone know about it? Why was the director completely blindsided? And why is Blake's lawsuit now trying so hard to paint Baldoni as the villain for even discussing something that Ryan actually did? This whole legal case might just be an expensive cover-up to protect Ryan from serious union violations that could have tanked his career. And the manipulation tactics were just getting started.
Taylor Swift is definitely regretting her friendship to Blake Lively now, because Blake Lively just had a massive loss in court to Justin Baldoni, and because of that, he has all of
This is where Blake's team really shows how desperate they've become. They're literally twisting innocent conversations to make Justin Baldoni look like some kind of social media manipulator. In their latest court filing, they claim Baldoni was using bots, trolls, and troll farms to attack Blake online. And their smoking gun evidence is a text exchange about boosting content. Here's what they submitted as proof. Baldoni texting about an incredible post from someone we've worked with on Man Enough, and his team suggesting they boost this instead of you posting.
It's the New York dinner thing that really tipped over for me, because I did kind of believe in my heart that maybe they were just taking some time because this...
And let's have third parties amplify instead of you right now. Blake's lawyers are painting this as evidence of a coordinated bot attack against her. But when you actually read the full conversation, it's not about Blake at all. They're talking about a video made by Justin's friend who appeared on his Man Enough podcast. The friend made a post explaining why Justin created the film and what his intentions were, basically defending Justin's character and the movie's message.
Well, Legacy Media's popped off with Blake Lively and Isabel Ferrer's PR stunt that they pulled on the federal court document.
It was positive content about domestic violence awareness, not an attack piece. The most revealing part, Baldoni's team decided not to boost it because some comments mentioned Colleen Hoover romanticizing domestic violence, and they didn't want it to look like they were taking shots at anyone. They were literally protecting people from potential backlash, not orchestrating attacks. Blake's team took a conversation about Justin wanting to share supportive content from a friend.
Same. I was starting to feel bad for Isabella, but now with these court filings coming out, she has proven she knows exactly what she was doing.
Why I felt turned it into evidence of bot manipulation and completely ignored the part where they chose not to amplify it to avoid hurting anyone's feelings. They're so desperate to paint Baldoni as the villain that they're manufacturing malice in conversations about being considerate to others. Meanwhile, if you actually look at Wayfair's social media during this time, they were posting Blake's own marketing content, her interviews, and promotional materials. They were literally helping promote her while she was secretly building a case.
All right, let's settle this. Do you believe that Blake Lively groomed and manipulated Isabella Ferrer to turn her against?
Claiming they were using bot armies against her. But this pattern of twisting evidence was about to reveal something even more damning. The leaked documents expose something truly sinister about how Blake's legal team is building their case. They're not just twisting facts, they're systematically hiding entire conversations and cherry-picking fragments to create a completely false narrative. And the person who might be feeding them this selective information could be the key to understanding this whole deception.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Amy here, the Mystical Badass. And news just came out of Blake Lively.
Here's what's really happening. Blake's team keeps getting caught, submitting partial text exchanges that tell completely different stories when you see the full conversation. Remember that flipping the narrative text they used as evidence? When you read the complete thread, it shows Baldoni's team was actually responding to stories that Leslie Sloan had already planted, not creating new attacks. The full conversation reveals that Melissa Nathan, Baldoni's publicist, was saying the planted stories were working in our favor.
Perez Hilton here, and I've always been a big fan of Ryan Reynolds. I really appreciate him as
because Ryan was looking worse and continues to play the narrative of them being awful. She wasn't planning attacks. She was pointing out that Blake's own PR strategy was backfiring on them. But here's the smoking gun. There's growing evidence that Stephanie Jones, the crisis management expert Blake hired, may have been feeding the legal team incomplete information. Either Blake received cherry-picked data that was deliberately taken out of context, or they got everything and then used search functions.
Oh, by the way, Perez Hilton has confirmed that he is in direct contact with Team Baldoni. That's not a guess, that's not a hint, that's not a maybe. It's right here on Reddit.
To find only the fragments that fit their narrative. Think about it. How do you accidentally submit the wrong dates on text messages? How do you miss the parts of conversations that completely change their meaning? How do you claim someone never responded to stories when the full texts show they chose not to respond specifically to protect people from getting hurt? This isn't sloppy legal work. This appears to be a deliberate strategy to overwhelm the court with partial evidence.
Is she great?
Yes.
Loved
What did
her.
you love about her?
I just love that she was just like an amalgamation of contradictions.
While hoping no one will fact-check the full context. They're betting that judges and juries won't have time to verify every single text thread and timeline. But there's one problem with this approach. Discovery works both ways, and the complete evidence is now coming out. What's being revealed through these leaked documents isn't just about one lawsuit. It's a masterclass in how Hollywood's most powerful publicists can manufacture entire narratives and control what millions of people believe.
Wait, why is the internet mad at Blake Lively? Let me explain. It all started with Lively's press tour for her upcoming movie.
And Leslie Sloan, Blake's publicist, just got caught red-handed orchestrating one of the most calculated media manipulation campaigns in recent memory. Here's how the machine actually works. Leslie Sloan has a direct pipeline to James Bucca at the Daily Mail. When Blake's team needs a story planted, Leslie feeds James the information. He writes it up with her spin, and suddenly it's news that gets picked up everywhere. James has admitted to writing multiple stories for Leslie, and she's never denied being his source.
Then Blake set up a meeting with Barbara. This is the producer, Barbara Broccoli, and she and Michael Wilson had the rights.
This isn't speculation, it's documented fact. But the genius of this system is the plausible deniability. Blake can claim she never talked to media while her publicist does all the dirty work. Then when someone tries to respond to the planted stories, Blake's team can act shocked and claim they're being unfairly attacked by people flipping narratives against them. The Daily Mail article about Ryan saving the script from disaster, that came straight from Leslie Sloan's playbook.
We being sent gag orders. I want to break this down. Comments already saying, Ashley, she's coming at you with a gag order now. And
she planted a story making Ryan look like a hero while setting up Justin Baldoni to look incompetent. When Baldoni's team discussed responding to this obvious hit piece, Blake's lawyers turned that into evidence of them planning to retaliate against Ryan. What's even more twisted is how they time these operations. Leslie plants the story, waits for the target to react. Then Blake's team documents any response as evidence of harassment or retaliation.
if Blake Lively's completely stressed you out, I mean, same girl, same. But number two, I swear.
They're literally baiting people into defending themselves, then using those defenses as proof of wrongdoing. And the Daily Mail connection runs deeper than just one story. That same reporter, James Bucca, also published The Disturbing Truth Behind What Happened on Set, another Leslie Sloan special that painted Justin as abusive and unprofessional. Multiple coordinated hit pieces, same publicist, same reporter, same playbook. This isn't just PR, it's weaponized media manipulation designed to destroy careers while maintaining complete innocence.
She was with me on this experience the whole time, all throughout it, so like she really lived this with me.
But when this strategy backfires in court, the consequences can be devastating. What Blake's team didn't count on was that courtrooms operate very differently from entertainment media. You can't just plant stories and control narratives when everything gets scrutinized under legal discovery. And right now, their entire strategy is imploding in the most spectacular way possible. Here's what's happening. Every single piece of evidence Blake submitted is being fact-checked with the complete document trails.
Blake Lively's in The Devil Wears Prada 2. I like all.
Ladies and gents. Those partial text messages, the full conversations are coming out. Those timeline manipulations, the real dates are being verified. Those claims about never talking to media, the documented proof of Leslie Sloan's planted stories is surfacing. The discovery process is exposing something that goes way beyond just this case. Blake's legal team appears to have built their entire complaint on the assumption that opposing counsel wouldn't have access to the complete communications.
My mom loves old scary movies, so when I was little, she would play The Bad Seed or Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Oh, nice.
They submitted fragments of conversations, as if they were complete exchanges, hoping no one would notice the missing context that completely changes their meaning. But Baldoni's team had everything. Every text thread, every timeline, every piece of correspondence that Blake's lawyers tried to manipulate. So when Blake claims Baldoni was planning to retaliate against Ryan, the complete texts show they were actually discussing how to respond to stories that Leslie Sloan had already planted.
I also just realized that if this truly is a new Taylor album, she's probably going to write a song about Blake. About the beef. My sister was just...
When Blake claims she never authorized media engagement, the full timeline shows Leslie was feeding stories to reporters for weeks. The most damning part. Blake's team keeps having to file amended complaints because they keep getting caught in these manipulations. Each time they try to clean up one lie, they create new problems with their previous statements. It's like watching someone dig themselves deeper into a hole while claiming they're climbing out. What this means legally is potentially catastrophic.
Blake Lively's subpoenas to content creators has been confirmed to be 100% real. Lauren also...
If you knowingly submit false or misleading evidence in federal court, you're not just facing a civil lawsuit anymore. You could be looking at perjury charges, sanctions against your legal team, and complete destruction of your credibility for any future legal actions. And the irony is perfect. Blake's attempt to use the legal system to destroy Justin Baldoni is instead exposing her own team's deception tactics to the entire world. So here's what we're really looking at. This isn't just a celebrity feud that got out of hand.
Is Anna Kendrick related to Kendrick Lamar?
There's no way that anybody thinks that.
This is a masterclass in how Hollywood's most powerful couples can weaponize the legal system, manipulate media narratives, and destroy people's reputations while playing the victim card. But for the first time, we're seeing what happens when that system gets exposed under legal scrutiny. The real victims here aren't Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. They're the people who get steamrolled by this PR machine. Directors like Justin Baldoni, who tried to make a film about domestic violence awareness, only to find themselves painted as abusers by coordinated media campaigns.
Young Lily never filmed a scene with old Lily, then there was no reason for them to have this tight of a budding friendship unless there was a...
They're the journalists who unknowingly become pawns in planted story operations. They're the audiences who consume this manufactured outrage thinking they're getting real news. But think about the deeper implications of what we've just uncovered. Every single person who worked on It Ends With Us, from the crew members to the other actors, their reputations and future job prospects were put at risk because of this manufactured controversy. When you're labeled as part of a toxic production...
Blake Lively's deposition just dropped, and what's missing might be worse than what's in it. Under oath, she was pressed.
That follows you for years in an industry that runs on relationships and reputation. The biggest victim might be the entire conversation around domestic violence that this film was supposed to promote, instead of focusing on helping survivors or raising awareness about this critical issue. We're watching a Hollywood power couple use serious accusations as legal weapons to protect their own interests and cover up potential union violations. They've turned a movie meant to help abuse survivors into a weapon for their own personal vendettas.
I've received a subpoena notice from Google as well, and I don't know how I missed it. It was sent on Thursday today.
What's particularly disturbing is how this strategy weaponizes real social justice movements. By crying harassment and abuse while actually being the ones orchestrating attacks, Blake's team isn't just lying. They're making it harder for real victims to be believed. When powerful people fake victimhood for legal advantage, it creates skepticism that hurts everyone who actually needs protection. The manipulation goes even deeper when you consider the timing. This all happened during the writers' and actors' strikes.
Okay, so I'm just jumping on quickly. I posted a video yesterday about the Baldoni...
A time when Hollywood workers were fighting for basic rights and fair treatment. While union members were picketing for better conditions, Ryan Reynolds was allegedly breaking strike rules. And when that got exposed, they turned it into a narrative about being attacked by the very people trying to protect workers' rights. What's terrifying is how close this came to working. If those complete text messages hadn't leaked, if the timeline manipulations hadn't been caught, if the Leslie Sloan connection hadn't been exposed, Justin Baldoni's career...
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to...
Could have been completely destroyed based on fabricated evidence and planted stories. We could be living in a reality where an innocent director is blacklisted from Hollywood, while the real manipulators are celebrated as brave survivors. This case is revealing something much bigger than just celebrity drama. It's showing us how the entertainment industry's most privileged players can manufacture entire realities through coordinated PR campaigns and legal manipulation.
Remember Isabella, the girl who played young Lily? Well, they've been trying to subpoena her 5 times, and she's like running for the hill.
They can plant stories, twist evidence, manipulate timelines, and destroy lives, all while claiming to be advocates for justice and victims' rights. The Leslie Sloan operation we've exposed here probably isn't unique. How many other careers have been destroyed by these same tactics? How many other scandals were actually manufactured controversies designed to eliminate threats or cover up embarrassing truths? How many journalists have unknowingly published planted stories that ruined innocent people's lives?
And this is why I will never be the talent and always the business owner, because what do you mean? Blake Lively, the lead actor.
And let's talk about the legal system itself. When wealthy celebrities can afford teams of lawyers who are willing to submit misleading evidence and manipulated timelines, what does that say about equal justice? If you're not rich enough to hire crisis management experts and maintain relationships with friendly reporters, how do you defend yourself against this kind of coordinated attack? The financial cost alone is staggering. Justin Baldoni has probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars defending himself against what appears to be largely fabricated accusations.
Latest on Blake and Justin, Brian Friedman has released a statement. Here it is. The court's decision on the motion to dismiss.
Meanwhile, Blake and Ryan can afford to keep filing amended complaints every time they get caught lying, essentially using their wealth to exhaust their opponent's resources. But here's what gives me hope. The discovery process worked. The truth came out. The manipulation got exposed. For all their power and connections, Blake's team couldn't control a federal court the way they controlled entertainment media. Real evidence beats planted stories, and complete text threads beat cherry-picked fragments.
What about the platforms? Hey everyone, I wonder why Blake Lively and her team haven't done more to draw attention to the problematic nature of social media.
The question isn't whether Blake and Ryan will face consequences for this manipulation. The question is whether this exposure will finally force Hollywood to confront how its own power structures can be weaponized against anyone who doesn't have the connections, money, or influence to fight back. Will this case become a turning point where other victims of PR manipulation finally feel safe coming forward? Will journalists start demanding more verification before publishing stories from anonymous sources?
Hey everyone, this is not smart. In response to Blake Lively saying that she
who might actually be celebrity publicists? Will the legal system develop better safeguards against the kind of evidence manipulation we've seen here? Maybe this spectacular backfire will make other powerful figures think twice before using serious accusations as legal warfare tactics. Because when the truth finally comes out, the damage to their own credibility might be far worse than whatever they were trying to hide in the first place. But the most important question is this.
Hey everybody, I think Justin Baldoni's lawyer Brian Friedman actually just delivered his worst statement to this point regarding the Blake Lively.
If Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds can orchestrate this level of deception while maintaining their public image as advocates for social justice, who else in Hollywood is running similar operations? And how many people have already been destroyed by tactics we're only now learning to recognize? The entertainment industry has always been about creating compelling narratives. But when those storytelling skills get turned into weapons against real people's lives and careers, we're not talking about entertainment anymore.
Her new name is Isabel Farad.
It's ridiculous.
Farad. What a fraud.
We're talking about a systematic abuse of power that goes to the very heart of how truth and justice work in America. This case isn't over, and the implications will ripple through Hollywood for years to come. But at least now we know what to look for. At least now we understand how the machine works. And maybe, just maybe, that knowledge will be enough to protect the next person who finds themselves in Justin Baldoni's position, facing down the full force of Hollywood's most sophisticated reputation destruction apparatus. The truth has a way of surfacing, even when the most powerful people in the world are trying to bury it. And in this case, that truth is more shocking than any story Blake's PR team could have ever planted.